Hey, welcome back to RivLo Acres. I'm Ashley and we are doing tomatoes today.
Look, I think you're not.
Hi, Sissy.
Hi, Mommy. Does that do, Mommy?
Yeah, gonna do tomatoes. Alright, so in yesterday's video you saw me coring, cleaning up, and running my tomatoes through my Roots and Branches food mill. So after I did that, I strained off some of the tomato water and put everything into a roaster pan. So I put everything into a roaster pan and I had it on low all night. I took the lid off this morning and let it start steaming some of the water off. So in order to get some more of the tomato water off, because I want my sauce to be as thick as possible, today I took my little squeeze bottle and so I just squeezed it and then sucked the water out and then just put it down the drain to help thicken it up quicker. So we're gonna start canning that up. I've got my canners on here with jars and water getting hot. And then we're gonna do salt and lemon juice in the jars. We're gonna run quarts. I also have tomatoes that I'm going to core and cut into diced tomatoes, and possibly if there are small ones I may keep them for a jar of stewed tomatoes or however many it works out to be. So yeah, we're gonna get cracking on this so that we can get this checked off the list for the week. Yeah, so let's go. Let the canning process begin. So I've got my jars, hot, all that jazz. Gonna pull them out, fill them up. Lemon and salt, 2 tablespoons. I actually have an 1/8 of a cup measuring cup, so I'll just do that. A teaspoon of salt. I use kosher salt, don't use iodized. If you're watching this, I'm sure you know that. This isn't really meant to be a tutorial or how-to. Follow your canning guides. Make sure that you're doing everything safe. I'm just trying to make some content and share what I do on a daily basis. So. And I already forgot a step. So the reason that I use kosher salt and not canning salt is simply because my local store, my local Walmart, I should say, is frequently out of canning salt, and it's more expensive than plain old kosher salt. So I just get kosher salt and use it for everything. The reason that you don't want to use iodized salt is because it will make your canned food cloudy and not very appealing looking, or at least that's my understanding. And kosher salt does not do that, nor does canning salt. There's no additives in it, so it's a little different. I also try to keep, that's one way that I keep the extra costs down, by not having all the specific different things like that in this case. It also keeps me from thinking that I have it in the cupboard and then realizing that I don't when it comes to canning season. Which, I mean, once you have a homestead canning, there's not really a canning season. You have different products that you can in different seasons, but canning is pretty much a thing that you do all year round once you're full-blown homestead. Last winter I did, I cooked lard and canned that, processed that. I did broth, both, stock. I did chicken stock and pork broth. So because we process everything at home, we have all of the bones and cuts left at the end, and last year I roasted everything and did a roasted pork stock and got that all canned up. And so this year when we process our beef, I'll be able to do the same, as well as our pork, which we have pork stock, so I can smoke and preserve the bones for another time. So it's very exciting. The things that you can do, you can get really creative and really do some different stuff. All right, so. Okay, so I just double checked my book. It said 1/2 inch headspace. So I'll put a little more in these jars. I'm going to get a paper towel, vinegar, wipe everything down, and start putting my lids on. It's still weathering outside today, on and off. I think we're expecting a pretty hard freeze tonight, which would be our first, if it is a hard freeze, a nice killing frost, that would be our first killing frost of the year, which is pretty on par, I do believe, for frost. But yeah, I'm not ready for it, but I am. I'm just ready for it to be like January 1st so I can like have a day of rest. And then start working on spring stuff. Alright, so I got all of the tomato sauce canned up and pressure canned, and it is cooling down behind me. So I got a dozen quart jars of that done. So now I am moving on to doing diced tomatoes, and I'm also going to do some like stewed type tomatoes if they're too soft to dice up. That way I don't end up with like mushy tomatoes, hopefully. So I am cleaning them, blanching them, peeling them. Those ones I left in a little long. So after I blanch and peel them, I am going to put them on this. I'm going to slice them into between 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch slices, and then I'll put it in here and chunk it up. So then from that, I will put them in the jars and go from there. I may put the pieces into a strainer first, we'll see. So that's gonna be what we're doing. So we're cleaning. From there we score the top. And then the scored tomato gets put into the boiling water for a few seconds. And then the skins peel off. And then they go there. Alright, so I did tomato sauce, I did diced tomatoes, and now I'm doing some stewed tomatoes with the tomatoes that were too soft to dice up nice. So in the jars I'm putting onion, celery, green pepper, salt, and lemon juice. And then I'll clean these up, lid them, and process them. The recipe is in the ball book. All right, well, that was quite a day. It is after 9 o'clock at night. I am exhausted. My feet, my knees, my hips, my back, it hurt. So I got 29 quarts of tomato products canned. 12 of that is tomato sauce. 12 is diced tomatoes. I got 4 quarts of like a stewed tomato done. I have 4 more in the refrigerator that'll be ran tomorrow. I got kombucha started. I got more tea mix, tea and sugar made up to put in with my SCOBY hotel. I got sourdough bread started, and I think that's it. I think I'm gonna call it a night. I'm gonna go get in bed. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you tomorrow on the next one.